Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Boys. Oh, I'm really close. Let's move that way. Welcome to tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star. Thank you for joining us. It's Friday night. And look, 1, 2, 3. The boys are back. I should have had the boys are back in town song just for tonight. I'm going to do it during the break. We can celebrate it.
Because who needs monetization anyway?
Exactly. YouTube's blacking us for everything anyway. What difference? Every time someone plays the Venga Boys, there's no chance of any money ever. So, but they probably need the money more than us.
I think that's more of a comment on their music.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the monkey tails are in. Oh, you didn't all die, did you? You didn't all die. Oh no! Please, don't tell me the bad news.
Seems scarily early.
This is scarily early for them, isn't it? Yeah, the Venga Boys. Yeah, just play the song. We'll do it now. That way, YouTube will take all our money early. Which one is it? Oh, no, it's Ben's night off. I've not got the Venga Boys on. We'll get Sabotage on instead. There we go. That means there's no pressure of actually being monetized ever. So the pressure's off. We can just be ourselves and not pretend what we aren't, which is professional and skilled. So anyway, welcome this evening to the show. The Monkey Tails, Meows here, Angie's here, Lloyd's here, I see Pirate, IMT, the whole posse here. Thank you for joining us from the very beginning. This is new for you guys because you're always fighting amazing fights and telling amazing tales on your channel. It is suspicious that you finished so early. We hope that the memory of your fighters and your adventures will live long in the memories. Oh, the guns are out. The guns are out, Stash. I'm a bit zoomed in, sorry. That's it. John Cena's very litigious as well. Whoa. There we go. The guns are out.
Busting out the litigious as well.
I know. I'm full of the joys of spring. It's just been about you two. The boys are back in town. I didn't put the options. I'll just have to sing it. So yes, where are we? Yes, the three of us here. So it means we're playing Traveller for the first time in weeks, literal weeks. Ewan was away for 2. I was off for 1. Ben's going to be away in a couple anyway, so we're sneaking a couple in while we can. Summer's always a bit wonky as it is for everyone, but we do love our Traveller. That's why we started, and we come back to it on Fridays, whether you lot like it or not. It's part of the subscription pattern. It's like when you get Sky in the olden days, when you subscribe for Sky and you got all the cool channels, but then you also got really strange shopping channels that you couldn't care less about, but you got them. That's what our Friday nights are like. But we love it, and we're glad that you could be here with us for a while. We'll run a couple of hours, 2.5 hours tonight. We'll have a break in the middle. Please feel free to stay around or go. You owe us nothing at all. See, I'm getting dubbed by all the litigious people. That's Bruss. But thank you for giving us a little go for a short time. It's nice. It's happy, it's good times. It's summer. Summer's here. And living is easy. And yes, feel free to chat or lurk. Both are fine. Or click on that red button and make sure we never make any money out of YouTube ever. Anything pinkish will have music or sound effects. There's other things you can affect the story with. You can make someone's character tell a tale. You can give us a boon, always appreciated. You can make one of us talk for a minute on any topic you want, and that can be any one of the three of us. You can name an NPC so they live forever, well, they might not live forever, in canon. You can make Stefan try to steal something. You can make one of our characters have to punch someone or something. You can make Agnar buy whatever someone else is paying for. You can just make Yana Teak pop up on screen if you want. All those things are good. There is one special thing we keep as 1 credit and 1 credit only. If you agree with someone, you want to be part of a moment of a conversation, a toast, I'll drink to that is 1 credit and 1 credit only. We're a very socialist stream. And we can all raise a glass and I'll drink to that. I've got a Yana and a muffin. Oh, muffin's behind Yana. That's not right. We'll start with Yana and we'll upgrade to muffin. I never realised how loud Never realised how loud that fan was until you went muted. There's muffin.
I'll turn it off. It's not that hot yet.
Okay, that's good. It will be after your introduction. There's muffin. The best newsreader there's ever been. Anyway, enough of that. So let's introduce the three of us, and then we'll move on to this evening. Carry on where our story has. Oh, more Yana. Where our story has been. So my name is Luke. Hello, I'm in the bottom right-hand corner. And I feel comfortable here. I get confused when I put myself somewhere else on screen and make mistakes. I'm here. And I play 2 characters. I play Kara. Look, she's just on screen. Oh, she's gone now. She is artistic. She is talk first, drink second, carouse third, take video footage fourth, and fight at the very last need. I'm also Soraya, who is a bit of a jack of all trades, a Han Solo-esque character who spent far too much time on her own on the edge of space, and she's gotten a bit funny, but she hides it quite well most of the time. Above me is this person here, and it's a joy to have him back. I've missed him immensely the last 2 weeks because he is my brother from another mother. He is the Floofmeister General, and he is the housewife's favourite. He's in full blow. He's been away in the southwest for 1 week, and he's come back fully hippied up with his shirt. He's just come back in his Volkswagen, smelling suspiciously of drugs. It's Ewan. Good evening, Ewan. How are you?
Hey, look, I'm very good, thanks. I'm very good. I had to wear the tie-dye today because, as I told you, we stopped off at Stonehenge on the way back, so it felt fitting. Although it's just full of tourists.
Including you.
Including, well, yeah, I suppose. What's the definition of a tourist?
I don't know. You tell me. Diana's been up far too long. Don't throw these questions at me this early in the stream. I'm not prepared for these things. I was just here to have a good time, not answer questions. So, that's it. Here's a question you can answer. Who are you playing tonight?
Well, that's a very good question, Luke, and an almost as good segue. I'm playing Agnar Hansen, former military general, Varga, medic come military tactics. Woefully strong. He frankly, I'm surprised he can open on as many bottles of whiskey as he actually drinks. He must have someone else to open them for him. It's never come up, but maybe it will in the future. And I also play Stefan Miller, who is a sneaky, slightly paranoid space rogue. He's currently hiding out. He's the only one on the Baltic Star. Namesake. So I'm quite pleased about that.
That is true. For those of you that might have heard such rumours, one of us did actually return to the Baltic Star for the first time since about 2 weeks into our streaming. So there you go, about 2.5 years ago.
Many years ago.
So what a joy! It's only like 3 weeks of time have passed in game, but you know, we like to play at a pace, I guess.
Definitely a pace.
It's certainly a pace. A pace is probably not the right word. But never mind. The man that tries. Well, he used to try and push us on, but he's given into his fate, and his patience has soared over the last couple of years. He is the smartest man in any room. He lives his entire life in the Twin Peaks dream sequence, and at night he likes to sneak out in his black top. He puts on maybe a black woolly hat from time to time, some black leather gloves, and he clambers through women's windows to leave his chocolatey deposit in their drawers.
And all because the lady loves milk tray.
In a way that's a bit less stalkery than that sounds, apparently.
He is. He always leaves your calling card
Allegedly,
so they know who it is. He's a man from the 1970s, apparently. It is Ben. Good evening, Ben. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm all right. Yes. Very much looking forward to having the gang back together and doing some travel on a Friday. It's been a minute, hasn't it, since we've done some of this?
Oh, I was updating the date of last contact sheet in the middle of our screen, and it was like the 6th of July or something. More than a month. Mm-hmm. That's very upsetting.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens if you two will, have lives away from the channel. It's very offensive when that happens.
Says the man going away for a whole weekend, a whole week even, in a week and a half's time.
Yeah, I am doing that. That's absolutely true.
Oh, yes. Never mind. It is one of your big festivals of the year, your second favourite day of the year, or whatever it is.
It is my thing, yes, Fright Fest. Every August I do Fright Fest. It is very important to me.
Is this second behind Easter Egg Sandwich Day?
Sometimes I think
Is
it
that what we're
is, and
saying, or is
sometimes I
it
think it
ah?
isn't. I suspect, on balance, it's probably more important because Easter egg sandwich day realistically is about 15 minutes long,
Mm,
whereas Fright Fest lasts for 4.5 days. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
it doesn't take that long to celebrate Easter egg sandwich day.
So you're going for longevity over sweetness then?
Yeah, yeah. Also, Fright Fest does include the opportunity to grab an occasional Whopper from the Burger King next door, and a few glasses of beer, and a few other things. So it's it's a more complete experience. It feeds the arts and the culture, the mind and the soul, and also fills me with Whopper.
Well,
Other
speak.
fast food
Yeah,
is available.
that's how I heard. Uh,
Maybe
well,
technically available.
tonight, Ewan and I can't fill you with Whopper, but I hope that your time with us will also bring you the arts and the excitement and the joy that that Fright Fest can, in its own small way. As we
It
meet together.
always does.
Good. I'm really glad.
You two so rarely fail to disappoint, but on traveller nights, it's definitely all go.
Speaking of which, should we go?
Absolutely. So our heroes have returned to the ocean world of Giikur. While there are a few little complications that have emerged. They had two main objectives when they got back here. On an island called Heronhow, there might be an inscription that might, just might, help answer some questions. Sadly, Heronhow is embargoed by the Imperial Navy, and nobody can visit. The other reason for coming back is to collect their ship, the Baltic Star, finally out of refit and ready to set off on its mission to the far end of the galaxy. Getting to the Baltic Star should be pretty easy. After all, they only have to get to the orbital shipyard and they step aboard. Accordingly, they went down to the planet to see about Heronhow. There are a couple of possible ways to get to the Forbidden Island. The first comes directly from the Pelago race, an ocean race that circumnavigates the planet and comes really close to Heronhow. If someone could get onto one of these racecraft, then, well, an opportunity might be found. The race is extremely popular, viewed by almost the entire planet, and in the chaos, there might be another kind of opportunity, especially as Agnar has been offered a chance to watch the race from a very fast luxury dirigible. Of course, narrative is in the details. Stefan ended up stabbing Anton Fess in the neck for complicated reasons, and then going on the run, eventually ending up hiding on the Baltic Star after being rescued by Juril Kags, a rough but relaxed mercenary. Soraya was under suspicion for the same attack, but is now free and acting independently. She's offered to help a journalist, Verima Sefran, investigate skullduggery in the race teams. Agnar is living the life of luxury, but has procured a potent anesthetic should he need one for some reason. And Kara, taking three other members of the crew with her, has managed to secure places on the ISB team's racecraft. The race is about to begin. The crowds are excited. The authorities are tense. Anton Fess seems to have a submarine hunting around the area filled with mercenaries, and everything's about to come to a head. And that is where we resume the story.
Yes. We didn't need to talk about Fest
Yes,
today.
indeed.
That was a lovely intro until then.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so we could start with anybody, but I think under the circumstances, we probably should start with Kara. Um, because the last moment we left off before we had our sort of 3 weeks break, the very last thing that happened was that the ISB craft with Kara and her three shipmates on board,
The
among
Angels.
other members of the crew, um, has actually set out to the starting line for the race. So the craft is setting out into the cove, lining up for the start line. This will be the very first time that there won't be a hard right turn right at the beginning. In all of the preliminary races, as soon as the as soon as the starting signal goes, the craft have to build up to speed and then almost immediately take a sharp right turn. Now, it's undeniably true that you still need to turn right, but it's no longer so critical. You've got hours and hours of racing ahead of you, and picking a path doesn't really come down to how tight you take the very first possible bend. So you can actually hear people sort of whispering under their voices to keep calm, relax, long way to go. You can't win the race in the first 10 seconds, but you can definitely lose it. That sort
Oh,
of
I love the
message.
cliches. This is my sort of world. I love a good cliche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make a real mistake at the start, you could wreck your craft and you're done. But it's not too bad if you're just a little bit slow off the mark, if you're not quite at the front of the pack as you set off. So everybody is being, as relaxed as they can make themselves um, in this artificially tense situation. And we have obviously a certain amount of at this level, a certain amount of movement of people settling into their seats and getting ready for the off. All of the craft are setting out in plenty of time, and it doesn't look as if anybody is hanging back or failing to make the start line exactly as suggested. Um, Cassie, the captain, is starting to glance into the eyes of everyone behind her as she turns around in her seat, making sure that everybody's looking nice and calm. And she nods to Kat and says, "You got this?" And Kat grins and says, "Easy," and takes over the controls for the first couple of moments as she steers it up to the start line. Um, Cat brings the craft to a stop just behind the start line, not wanting to accidentally just get washed over it by a slight bit of wave or swell. And as the countdown gets towards the sort of 10-second mark, everybody leans forward a little bit in their seats to sort of ease tense muscles before pressing themselves firmly back, waiting for the acceleration, which is quite considerable on a craft like this. Um, you can see Kat resting her elbows back against the padded rests so that she won't flinch away from the controls when the acceleration comes. And she looks so calm, she could almost be falling asleep at the controls. She does not look nervous at all. And it counts down to 0. And as soon as it does, there's this sort of pregnant pause while you're waiting for the light to go green. Because in order to stop people judging it, they allow a little bit of randomness in when the gun actually goes. And then finally, seems like a wait, the light goes green, and suddenly the acceleration hits you in the back of through your seat in the back and back of the head as the craft leaps forwards as Cat guns it. Um, it sets off pretty much at the same moment as all the others. There's no obvious instant failure of someone or great success of someone. Nobody seems to have jumped the start. Doesn't look like anybody will be picking up any kind of penalty. And as the craft accelerates, it becomes much rougher very briefly as it skips across the waves and then suddenly smoother as it leaps up onto its hydrofoil. But even that is rougher than it will be as it gets faster and faster and the hydrofoil itself comes clear of the water. And as these craft accelerate, you can hear nothing from Kat. She just seems to be happily, busily controlling. But you do get a yell from Cassie. It says, "Okay, Kat, gently right, gently right." And you start to feel the craft turn. And as it does, you can see the rapidly disappearing island behind you, with just vaguely visible that little band of different colors where different groups of team supporters have lined up. And the Pelago race is finally go.
Wonderful. I was expecting this about 6 months ago, but we got there in the end. Oh, Ewan, why are we like way we are?
Don't blame me. I've been nothing but efficient and
Can we hop back?
blabbering.
Can we hop back to that episode a few weeks
Circular.
ago that was just Agnar's drunken adventures on his birthday?
I kept getting drawn into it though. I was trying to close it off all the time, and something else exciting came up.
To be fair, at least you haven't done a shopping episode or negotiated a mortgage for an entire episode this time.
Actually,
Well,
that's a good
true.
point.
It's been a while.
We're due one. I know.
We're going to renew our mortgage.
I'm still absolutely convinced this is the
I
think-
only Twitch stream that has ever devoted a sort of 2.5 hour stream to the characters thrashing out a mortgage.
I reckon we could get a better rate now. We did have to take a slightly worse rate because we were short on money, but I think we could get a better rate. I think we do need to.
Yeah.
We need to head back over to De La Brew next and have a talk about it. Or if we remortgage it, so we've got to free up some collateral to buy something else, maybe. Start our empire. Anyway,
All right.
that all those things are rushing through Kara's mind strangely, as the the Pelago racers are hammering across the sea.
So, would you like to go up to the dirigible or along the cove a little way to where Rose is with Soraya and they're scoping out one of the opposition teams?
I'm happy either way. Human, does Agnar have something he wants to start doing it as the race starts? Specifically?
That's a very good question. How, in fact, Agnar will ask Sharp. He'll say, "How long till they reach Herrenhal, or the closest point? The closest point to." I hear that's an exciting part of the race.
In essence, it's impossible to know exactly when because obviously it's a race. They'll get there when they get there. But Herrenhal is well over 3/4 of the way around the race. So they should be passing it late morning tomorrow.
Ah, wonderful.
Mid morning, maybe tomorrow, 10 o'clock ish perhaps.
In which case, Luke, there's nothing immediate that Agnar would like to do.
I assume they're up in the bougie balloon, right? Following it around. Isn't that what that
They
does?
are. They went
Yeah.
up at about 11:15.
Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah.
He will. Oh, actually, I don't even know if that's possible. He'll, rather than keeping too close of an eye on the race, because we've got screens in front of us, right, and we can sort of bring up information that we want. Or is it one?
The way it's
shed?
constructed is essentially the gondola underneath this dirigible has at the very front a cockpit section. At the rear, there is a sort of crew steward section where they prepare food and things like that. Both sides of the craft have these private booth areas in which you could sit 2 to maybe 5 people in each with their own screens that they can use to zoom in on the race. Those screens are so that they have sort of a window you can see through. Plus, you can make that window into a live camera view of anything you want, and then you can overlay on it little graphics that show you which dot is which team and zoom in and actually see them in close up and then zoom out and see how they are relative to the others. And it's got graphics that show you, for example, how fast they're currently going and what route they're taking and what the depth looks like under their keel and general stuff like that.
Okay, cool. He'll be scanning the area in which he last saw the dirigible, I suppose, and then sort of the area around Herrenhal, maybe keeping an eye out for anything that's not a racing boat.
Right. You won't be able to see Harrenhal itself very easily because you'd
That's
be at
not
a
the
weird
intelligence.
angle. The cameras that you're
Okay.
viewing are mounted on the dirigible. The dirigible has now smoothly accelerated. It began doing so just before the race kicked off. Flat out, it can just about keep pace with the fastest of the craft. But because it's not as restricted in terms of evading islands and what have you, it can go straight over the top of them. It can quite easily maintain speed to stay up with the front of the pack, which it tends to do. It's roughly hovering over the front of the pack. So while you can see Herrenhal, just point the camera due aft, you're a fair way away.
Okay, cool. No worries. He'll keep an eye on the front of the pack, or maybe the area around them more than actually them. But he did. Am I right in thinking that he messaged Kron to try and keep an eye out for the Baltic Star as well? So he'll have that in his mind that there's some kind of something going on, whatever it may be. He doesn't know anything about sensors, but
He absolutely did. Kron doesn't have much in the way of additional capabilities, but the Baltic Star has its own sensors, and of course, it's plugged into the current network at the orbital station. So any feed that's being brought up for the lounges and bars on the station, he can view freely. So he's flicking around looking for anything he spots.
okay, perfect. That's the plan then. He'll just peruse around, make some small talk with Sharp about the race.
Okay.
Nothing immediate.
Now, Sharp is obviously quite enjoying watching the race, but she's also aware that there's a little bit of a plan afoot. She doesn't know the details, you understand. You haven't shared details with her, but she knows you've been asking some odd questions and things like that.
Me?
So,
A sneaky plan? What?
Surely not.
I mean, she's a trained investigator, a former military intelligence officer, and not actually that dumb. So,
Yes, yeah.
so she is going to lean across at a certain point and say, so is there anything I need to know, or are we cool?
Well, I suppose that depends on what you mean by need. We've had some good and clear and precise communication, I feel. And you're obviously aware of the look around a little bit and lean in the Anton Vest situation.
I mean, obviously, I know that there's absolutely no reason to believe that you had anything to do with stabbing him, and you did save the man's life. So, clearly you're a good guy. Is there anything else I need to know?
Yes. Well, I mean, on top of that, we're a little bit concerned about his allegiances, I suppose. I'm sure. I'm sure you're aware of his, should we say, background, if not entirely in his past.
I mean, I hear things, but not a great deal of detail. His allegiances, you mean in the team or deeper allegiances?
Oh no! Certainly, certainly not within the team. More in line with your background or your military past.
Oh, I see. Yes. So, I mean, obviously, this is an entirely hypothetical thing, and I'm sure you could only guess anyway, but is it more likely to be your past and your underlying allegiances, or the fact that you're working for a team? Which of those is the more likely to get you randomly stabbed in the throat?
Of course, I wouldn't actually know that because I haven't seen Stefan since the incident. I certainly didn't see him at the time.
It's purely hypothetical, of course.
I mean, I would imagine it's probably got nothing to do with the team's allegiances.
Okay, good to know.
As a guess. But I feel as though I worry somewhat that he's out and about missing. In fact, isn't that the latest?
Well, I mean, I don't know that anyone's really looking for him.
Well, no.
But
it certainly seems an odd time for him to abscond from a place that's looking after him when there's a race on that could get you awfully close to a place that naval intelligence doesn't want people to visit, given his previous allegiances.
It seems very unusual for him to not be around the race, given that he is so very interested in fish, and that he's currently being paid by one of the teams. Yes,
and rocks.
Yeah, and obviously there was something important that made him leave the hospital. Anyway, I'm sure nothing will happen. I'm just spitballing.
Of course. Yeah. Well, let me know if there's anything I need to know, need to do, need to be able to later deny.
As soon as I've decided if there is or not, I will let you know.
Okay, that's good enough for me. And she calls over a member of the stewards and orders a round of drinks for the two of you. And then she says, "So, there aren't places to sleep on here, are there?" And the steward says, "No, ma'am, this is the whole deck." She says, "Okay. So, we can stay on board the whole race if we want." Of course, ma'am, this is your space. But most people don't. Most people either fly down to a private yacht or a private estate on an island somewhere during the night and then fly back up, and some fly back to the capital, of course, and then back up and catch up with us for the daytime bit. It means we run a sort of skeleton crew overnight because we're not very busy then. But if you wish to stay, of course, it's entirely up to you. And she smiles at him warmly and says, "Well, that's very helpful, thank you."
Glorious.
Okay. So I suppose we should turn our attention to the glory that is Soraya.
The glory of Soraya. Who?
Episode title right there.
Hang on, let me write that down. Was it the glory of Soraya? Yeah, we like an episode title. Yeah. I'm enjoying when they actually come from the quotes itself. Okay, yep. So if I remember correctly, Soraya and Rose are in Team VCI with Paddock. They did their bit of schmoozing with Helicanyon, the captain, isn't he? The captain of the crew. He's the big cheese, the big favourite, of course, because they're the favourites to win, so everyone loves him.
Yep.
But then
he's of course now out on the ocean and travelling very quickly.
Exactly. As much, I'm sure he left Rose with a little bit of sadness in his heart after she sat there stroking at his shoulder and laughing at his jokes and such like. And then we went through the Sefran. And Sefran, Soraya agreed to follow up a rumour that DSS will run ahead of VCI, but then they will feed everything to VCI to let them sweep to victory. So people were expecting VCI to lead from the front because DSS have been doing badly, but DSS, they're actually going to do the old rope-a-dope theory of like leading one into DSS and then VCI And that's the theory she's got now, isn't it? If I remember correctly. Am I right in that?
That's the guess is that the two teams have been collaborating all the way along. That they pooled their volunteers, and VCI has taken the fastest of them.
Yeah.
That there is now a rumor circulating that DSS will take the lead and VCI will essentially follow them, which allows them to run more smoothly and comfortably and avoid any unnecessary risk, but also just generally have a more relaxed ride,
Yes.
so that when it comes to the final push, they can put much more of their they won't be as fatigued. They'll be more comfortable. They'll be more ready to go, and they will have all of the information they need to actually accelerate, knowing exactly what the conditions are just in front of them, build up some momentum to go past the others. That's the theory.
Perfect. So I'm picturing, and shoot me down if I'm wrong, but I'm picturing that as the craft goes out, that all the fans, it's yellow and black, isn't it, for VCI?
Yes, I think that's right.
I picture all the fans sort of turning to giant screens and things, and sort of cheering the start. And there's half of them still watching, half of them drinking, and half of them drinking and watching, and chatting and celebrating and schmoozing and so on. Would I be right in that sort of vibe in the paddock? It's a sort of bit, it's a bit
Absolutely.
VIP-y. It's a bit sort of Blue Peter Award
It is.
winners getting in. It's a bit, a couple of groups of whatevers and things, right?
And in the first few minutes of the race, the teams are pretty much neck and neck. People are watching the screen because it's brand new, it's just started and it's exciting. But obviously people aren't going to stare at that screen for 30 hours. So after 5 or 10 minutes with very little happening, they start to, exactly as you say, they start chatting, they'll order a drink, they'll get a bowl of bar snacks or order something more substantial to eat. It's a club atmosphere in the paddock area you're in. This is quite upmarket kind of watching of the race. Every now and then someone does point out something or you get a little yell of encouragement, because one of the things they're watching is the footage presented by the team, just of their team, of VCI. But you also see every now and then footage from the main sort of broadcast channels, which are cutting back and forth between various teams. And one of the main broadcast ones is showing what appears to be the DSS team pulling just a little bit ahead of the pack. And that, surprisingly, in the VCI paddock, seems to go down very well.
Soraya's going to head to the nearest manned bar, if that's okay. Oh, Spinland. Welcome. What a joy to have you with us, Spinland. How you doing? You all right? Absolute treat as always. You've come just as Soraya's heading to refresh her glass, in fact. Perfect timing. Okay. Soraya's going to look for the nearest manned bar, if that's okay, please, Ben.
Of course. Where you are in the paddock area, there are sort of two outdoor bars that are one each side of the main entrance doors. This is within the sort of enclosure outside the actual hangar. But as the race has started, they've actually cranked open now the hangar doors, and some people are beginning to mill inside, where you can hear some sort of chat and enthusiasm. So it looks like there may be some socializing happening indoors as well.
Oh, let's go to an indoor bar. I like the idea of the indoor bar. That's where people are off to chill out a bit more. Fiddy's in the house as well. Oh, look at that. It's a pre-blues Fiddy. Good evening, Fids. Sorry, I'm stopping. I'm sure people that listen on demand get very upset when I stop to say hello to people, but tough. That's what the channel's all about. Don't care. Okay. That was very aggressive. Sorry, that's very aggressive. Yes, Soraya's going to grab. Sorry, Soraya's going to tug at Rose's sleeve. So hey, do you want to come inside for a drink? Looks like we might be here for a while.
Sure. Rose wanders sort of almost arm in arm with Soraya, certainly shoulder to shoulder, through the door and looks around. Obviously, a large amount of the space is dominated by the actual the key and its docks running away from you. The actual the main body of water that this is built around. But there's a broad open area with sort of offices all the way around that are used by the team to handle their tactics and everything like that. There are open areas running down the sides of the dock, and those are still roped off. Beyond those, the team are mostly sitting at little tables, some of them with computers, some of them just looking at screens on the walls. And they seem to be at the moment fairly relaxed. There's very little they can do other than pass some information to the craft, after all. But they still want to have their own private space a bit further in. But the entire area between the near side of the dock, right up to the water's edge there, and chained off down the sides, is that entire frontage is now filled with tables and chairs and stools, and a couple of mobile bars have been pushed into place, and a couple of other places they've stacked drinks on some crates and things like that. And they have staff in their team colours wandering around in yellow and black, handing out drinks and welcoming people to the party.
Oh, Rose, this is a very generous and well-stocked frontage, wouldn't you say?
I think this is quite nice. Didn't think we'd be watching it from here.
You know, we've got to do what we've got to do. Don't lose sight of the main goal, though, Rose. Don't you get carried away. Don't you turn to the yellers. We don't want to be any of that excitement. We're here on the. She sort of theatrically winks and taps her nose. A special mission.
I thought my job was to distract the captain for a little bit while you got some information out of him, and he's now miles away and still accelerating. So I figured my job was done, and I could now just get drunk. Or is there another thing?
What, you didn't get his phone number to keep harassing him during the race? That's part of the plan, wasn't it?
Sorry, I must have forgotten that part. Also, no, it
Yeah.
wouldn't make any sense. But leave that aside.
Plan B it is then. Right. Let's get drinks in. I want to start snooping around. I want to look for whichever of the pop-up bars has anyone near it that looks like a big fan. If there's anyone that's like, mega fan propped up by there.
Okay.
Or someone that at least looks like they're well into it, watching the screen as they drink, fully decked out in the colours,
Can you roll a streetwise for me, please, with, in this case, social? Or you can have carouse if you prefer.
Look. Street. Oh no. Soraya's not the right person for social. She's spent 14 years on her own in a ship. Look at it go. It's not great. Okay. I've hit a 7 plus a 1, but minus a 1, so it's 7.
Okay. As you glance around, there are obviously people in team colours showing a bit of support. You see an occasional team cap or team shirt. But glancing around, these seem to be the sort of well-heeled sorts who are wearing their own designer clothing. They might have picked yellow and black out of their cupboard, but it's not a team branded thing. They look wealthy, very very elegantly turned out. This is the executive club end of things. The only people you could legitimately point to and say these people are team branded and they look the way you would expect of a super fan clearly work here.
Got you. In which case, I'll go to a bar that's got a well-heeled person anyway. You never know. I've got a bit of time. We'll see if we can get lucky.
All right.
So I will approach the bar. Ah, VCI Tim, how are you? You're looking resplendent in your yellow and black. You remind me of a resplendent gentleman who never resplends quite enough, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, nice to meet you, ma'am. Can I get you something to drink?
Yes. Do you have any bubbles? We're celebrating a fine start for the team.
Bubbles, yes. Bubbles. Bubbles, I can do. Would you like alcoholic bubbles, cocktail bubbles,
Buggles.
vineyard kind of bubbles, or
Uh,
soft bubbles?
the buggles. I
The
would like I would like a vineyard bubbles, please, of the white variety.
Okay. Um, he glances across towards Rose and asks her if she'll have the same, and she smiles and nods. He he finds a couple of glasses of such and places them in front of you on the bar. Um, Enjoy.
Okay. Is the bar free in here, Ben, or am I paying for it? She's not going to ask. She's all good.
It seems to be completely free.
Wonderful. Um, what's the who's at this bar? From what she can tell.
Nobody is actually loitering at the bar. Just before you arrived, a person came up and got a drink, but they immediately moved off to sort of stand in front of some screens and wander around, mingling. And I think they're watching the other people as much as they are the race.
Okay. Tim, if I may call you that. Um, I hope you don't
Of
take
course.
offence. I hope you don't take offence. My friend and I are new fans. We've just been wowed by the team's ethic, by their performances, by the very handsome pilot, of course, my friends. Oh, she's easily won over by the speedy type, aren't you, my dear?
Oh, it's very exciting.
His we we're learning as we go along, and we love the fact we were able to get tickets, and we've been very fortunate to really get into sport. It's a wonderful sport, Tim, isn't it? After all, it's a very exciting. Um, we
I
were
agree.
we we were, there's one thing we were wondering. You see, being ardent VCI fans as we are, and as you are, no doubt, um, people seemed very happy that Team DSS took the lead. People, there seems to be when it happened, there seems to be whispers going around, smiles, sort of almost small cheers among people. Is there a closer? Is there a history between the two teams? Is there? We're just trying to get a vibe of this whole situation.
Can you roll a persuade for me, please, with intellect or social, your choice?
Well, it's definitely the intellect, isn't it? Was it persuade? Did you say?
Mm-hmm.
See if we can do better this time. Okay, we can do better. That's a 10 plus a 2 is a 12.
Okay. He smiles and he says, I can understand, of course, you don't want to be cheering at the wrong moment if you're a new fan. Of course, I understand. Obviously, as the race goes on, people are going to want more and more to make sure that VCI, their team, our team, the favourites, in fact, for the
Oh,
race,
up to VCI.
are front and centre. It is important to everybody that VCI wins. But it's far too early to worry about who's going to win. At this stage, it's more about the tactics, the choices, and, well, DSS has sort of become a bit of a sister team to us. Not working with them. You understand, of course, that would be ridiculous. But they're using the same kind of craft we are, and we've had a few people who dropped out of their team and came to ride for us because I don't know, they didn't quite fit in with their culture there or something. Um, so we've got a certain fondness for them, I suppose. It's like DSS is our most friendly rivalry. So
But
seeing them go to the front is, yeah, it could be a lot worse. It could be worse if it was anyone else, really. So people would be pleased to see them doing well.
but the important thing is definitely not working together, because that would be illegal against the rules, against the spirit.
I'm I'm not aware of any rule that actually prohibits collaboration, except obviously in the race itself, where you have to compete to the best of your ability.
Hmm.
But I think it would be pretty unethical even before the race, wouldn't it?
Oh, I would I would say so. But I see your point. It's nice to have a friendly face in the race, as it were. There's, like you say, there's faces that have moved from one team to another for whatever reason, which, like you say, is totally reasonable. And yeah, I can see that. It's nice to have rival. Unlike, have you seen that woman going on about ISB the whole time and starting all these rumors and stuff? Have you seen any of that nonsense?
I haven't noticed myself, but people have been talking. Yes, yeah. I think ISB, given their turnout last time, should frankly be focusing more on their own performance and worrying less about others.
Um, so I will look up at the screen. Do we know whether it has the video or like a, an order down the side or something? Do we know where VCI are at the minute? ISB are at the minute. Sorry.
Yes, you do. ISB are currently in fourth.
And where ISB VCI
Third.
third. Well, I should look back and say, well, they seem to be doing okay at the minute, I suppose. But hopefully, our heroic VCI crew and our wonderful Helic Canyon will keep them well off their heels.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure he's got it. This is going to be a pretty smooth effort, I think. I mean, obviously we didn't do well last time, but we've invested heavily. We've put in a lot of work. We've got all of the skills, all of the tools, all of the technology. I'm sure we're going to do really well this time.
I've heard we got the big brains, and he was seen earlier, but I haven't seen him around since the race started. Since before the race started, I thought he'd be here. Headpiece on, shouting commands everywhere. That's a
Our
bit surprising.
expert.
Huh.
I saw him a bit earlier. I haven't seen him in the last hour or so, but
Ah.
he is around. I will point him out to you if you don't know what he looks like. Maybe I can get an introduction for you.
It would be if possible. We'll come back to you later if we want that, of course. I'm sure he's a very
Well,
busy man. I'm sure he's a very busy man. We'll schmooze for a bit beforehand, but if you could maybe later on, that might be quite exciting. But don't worry unless we come back to you. Um, Sarah holds up her pass. She said, she says, by the way, the pass that me and my dear friend have got. Um, what does this entitle us to? Is it a standard pass? Does it stop us from getting some things? Enables us some special things?
well, it gives you access essentially to this area where you can watch the race. The team, obviously, some of them will be in the roped off section when they're actually working, but they have to come and go literally through this open area. So you can stop any one of them and ask for any insight you want. They're generally, I'm in my experience, they're quite keen to speak to fans.
Ah, wonderful, wonderful. Well, that's very exciting. I'm very glad we got very glad we bothered buying these tickets. Thank you, my good Tim. Your your service is wonderful. Soraya drains the rest of her glass, looks at Rose, and says, "Could we get another couple of glasses, please? This stuff's gone down very smoothly."
Of course. And he immediately fetches out 2 more glasses for you, and gently, slides them across the bar. You know where I am if you need more.
Thank you. Don't let the fact that I just called fine champagne stuff give away the fact that I'm as common as muck, of course.
It's fine. Your secret's safe with me.
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful time. We'll be back at some point, no doubt. Are you taking service tips, Tim, today? I don't want to offend you. Either
We're
way.
not allowed to take tips, I'm afraid.
Well, if I could, I would.
We're
Let's put it that way.
representing the company today,
Okay, well, if you change your mind, just leave your device out at some point, and I'm sure I can. Even if it's not for tips, if it's just for some extra help understanding about the sport or the team, you've been a wonderful help.
Oh, you're very welcome, of course.
Thank you. Now, if you'll excuse me, we're just going to wander for a while, Tim. Thank you. We're going to schmooze.
Excellent. Enjoy your day.
And you too. And you too.
Okay. So, do you have a specific mission in mind, or?
Now, this is difficult. There are things I need to do, and there's at some point I'm going to need to take a risk. It's the classic Hitman thing, right? Especially like that F1 level, you can spend your whole time wandering around the paddock for all the time you want to do, but at some point you need to go into that not allowed space. Do you know what I mean? And that's when the heart rate goes up. But you've got to spot the right door to go through.
Eventually, you need to put on the flamingo costume.
Oh, don't tempt me.
Yep.
That's a.
Yep. You need to put on a flamingo costume and drop a damn roof. This is how it goes.
I'll put on the Geeker Geeks costume again. I've already worn that once.
Yeah.
Don't tempt me. I will.
Oh, what a new story that would make.
I'll tell you. Rampant Geeker Geeks fish let loose in VCI paddock. Pushes captain off balcony after victory. Oh no. Right. So I probably need a moment to think. So I don't want to kill time on stream.
Right.
If Ewan's happy to do something, but in my mind, I'm going to try and work out the best way of going about it. And which is exactly what Soraya will do. She'll look for a nice comfy chair, sofa or something, pull Rose over, just chat and watch and drink, I guess, for a little bit, if that's okay, while she plots her next step.
Yeah, this place is designed to be comfortable, so there's plenty of places to sit. It laid out in all sorts of different patterns and structures. So some people want a sort of stool by a bar right facing the screen. Other people would like to sit by the cove's water. Still inside, you understand, but right by the dock, because it's nice to be next to water for some people, and they'd like to sit there and just look out through the opening of the sort of hangar structure out over the sea in front of them. Okay. There's plenty of places to sit and lots of people milling about, wandering from one screen to another, going over to say hi to people they might know from geeker high society and wealthy crowd. But we can absolutely, as this goes on, cut back to. Well, I suspect it's going to have to be Agnar, because I think Stefan's still basically hiding in the dark, eating cat food, isn't he?
He is. I mean, toasted sandwich.
Sure.
Food, obviously.
Yeah.
So, a higher class of cat
food. Yeah. Naturally, he'll
naturally.
I mean, seeing as he's got nothing to do, I believe we've spoken about this at some point, Ben. But if Stefan wanted to, hold on, actually, let me just check my sheet. No, don't worry. He's got loads of time left on the thing he's currently learning, so I won't put in the groundwork now.
Okay.
Let's go to Agnar.
Let's go to Agnar then. Okay. because the race has just started, of course, the dirigible is packed. Everybody's there for the opening few minutes and probably the opening few hours. And the stewards are bustling back and forth with drinks and food and, making sure everybody is currently topped up. And of course, you are also getting to see the race and the displayed running order of the race. Um, the the current running order has, I think, to a lot of people's surprise, Xander out front, followed by DSS. Um, but you can actually hear people talking about it. It's like it's a tactical thing. They're wondering if Xander has taken a nice easy route to start with, but it's going to cost them a bit more if they hit heavier water later on, and debating whether or not Xander's risk is going to pay off.
He needs to work with Buffy. That'll help.
Wonderful. He'll make some small talk with Sharp, and then I suppose maybe after a drink or two, when he feels as though both of them are probably a little bit more fluid than their previous conversation, he'll just sneak in somewhere along the lines of so. Given our previous discussion, obviously somewhat separate, but just as theoretical. Say for example, Sharp, I you're very much aware that I have some friends in this race. Say for example, they got into a spot of bother in their craft and needed some medical attention post haste. I know the race is well catered for, but say we were the closest in the area, and I don't mean to blow my own horn, but I am quite the medic. You might have seen, in fact, you did see. I'm sure you saw the footage of me saving Fess's life.
Absolutely,
it's definitely been brought up. And say I needed to get to them very, very quickly. Would you rather something like that happened? I suppose what I'm trying to say is, would you rather not know about something like that?
I mean, I'm not one of those people who has to be honest all the time for fear of being caught in a situation like this. But it would probably be wiser if I knew what was going on and then I could tell you which parts of it I knew and which parts I didn't.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. Well, I mean, obviously, hypothetically speaking, I don't know if you know this, but I'm also, I wouldn't say good, but I certainly have some skill flying an airship.
An airship, you say? She dances around at the airship.
I know. What are the chances? And obviously, if that was the fastest way to get to my friends, then I would do everything possible to, hypothetically speaking, save their lives.
I mean, this is a very fast airship. And I can imagine, since it's shadowing the race, and if you had an injury or someone in need of rescue at the actual race itself, I mean, maybe, just maybe, you would be the closest.
Precisely. I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is, would you, were such a, hopefully it doesn't, I care about my friends deeply, but were such a horrible thing to happen, would you rather that happened when you were asleep and you didn't know about it, or just, would you rather help me out? I guess you're quite handy in a tight spot.
Well, Let me put it this way. I think I would very much like to know in advance exactly what was happening and be right there when it happened. Because that way, if it was suddenly necessary to take emergency action, I would be able to do so on behalf of at least my employer's interests as a security person. Public safety is, after all, our first responsibility. Then, of course, were things to get too out of hand, I would also be in a position to calm things down a bit, perhaps. But not knowing exactly how bad things could get, I can't exactly promise I'm in for every possible outcome.
Hypothetically, in, of course.
Of course, hypothetically.
Oh well, in that case, let's drink to the health and the good fortune of my friends.
Let's do that, and let's hope that absolutely nothing requires sudden and unorthodox intervention. She raises a glass and takes a sip, puts it down, turning back to the screen, and she glances at it and she says, "So Xander, huh? Didn't see that coming."
No, it looks, and he looks around. It looks from this place is a bit of a hive of activity. You see everyone pointing at their screens. It doesn't look like many people did, to be fair. Lots of talk, lots of action. Where, tell me, where did they come last year?
They finished second, and they were very disappointed. And you'd have expected, with their kind of heritage, their a second place finish last year, you'd think they would be, very close to the favourites. But it's like nobody's really been talking about them much. I did hear one rumour, and I mean, looking at the screen, she reaches down and starts tapping at it a bit and says, "I don't know if we can do this, but..." She pops something up and says, "Oh, look at that." And she sort of points to a line and she says, "That line shows the route that ISB took last year. And Xander's route is exactly on top of it. It looks as if Xander are following the same route that ISB did the previous year when ISB didn't manage to finish." Ooh.
And what was it that meant that ISB failed to finish?
They cut a corner too tight and got a damaged craft, and there were some injuries, and it was a disaster for them. But the truth is, up until that point, they were doing really well. So maybe Xander is just following the same route, and maybe they'll pick a fractionally different one at that critical moment. But you never know.
Yeah, very interesting. Worth keeping that little infographic up, I feel. Let's see if they deviate much further down the line. It's early days, of course.
You start to notice, as you say this, that a couple of people, on each side of you, as they're sort of glancing at their own screens, obviously glancing across to see if you've seen anything interesting, and a couple of them are starting to say, "Oh, wait, what's that? What are you looking at?" And they're sort of going through their own consoles and see if they can bring it up. And one by one, you start to see a few of the other screens in your part of the dirigible pop up some of last year's routes, not just ISB's last year's route, but people are bringing up all sorts of different ones to see if anyone's following last year's path. And it looks as if the only one right now is that Xander is following ISB's last year's route.
Agner will start playing around on his screen and he'll turn to Sharp and say, "Oh, sorry, I think I've alerted everyone to your super, not secret, but your very interesting information.
as you say, it's not secret.
And he would like to try and compare the ISB route to the one they did last year, the one they're currently doing,
Ooh, good point. And
just to see if that's changed.
she pulls up ISB's. ISB's route is not all that close to the route they did last year. It's not. It doesn't seem to be particularly related to anyone's last year's route. They seem to have picked their own path. It may be that they've very carefully plotted one, or it may be that Cassie is just following the way she feels the weather's going and dealing with it second by second. There are a lot of people who say you can pre-plot this thing down to the millimeter before you even start the race, and everyone should be following exactly the same route. But the real fans think everything changes too quickly. You've got to be able to make the decision in the cockpit.
Oh, interesting. I quite like how you'll say to Sharp. I quite like how the politics and the history of this thing sort of carries over into the next year. It's an interesting micro society, I suppose.
Well, yes, it certainly can be. And look at Maglo in fifth. They're the defending champions, and they're not that far behind ISB at the moment. But that second group of four, the second half of the field, is starting to look a little bit detached. Maybe they're slipping a little bit. We'll see. It's early days.
Well, of course. It's a long way to go yet. Anything could happen. It's a game of two halves.
And more than 24 hours. There'll be some ups and downs yet to come. And, nobody's even died yet. She grins.
That doesn't actually happen, does it?
Well,
frequently.
Sometimes, about crashes, like last year with ISB. And then, they're traveling really fast, about the speed of sound. So crashes don't usually end well.
Well, yeah, of course, but there's safety precautions, surely.
Sure, you've got the high quality reaction times, skills, and knowledge of the people aboard. It's just if you hit something, it can,
Yeah. I must say it's quite surprising, and it seems somewhat of an oversight, given my nature, I suppose. But I guess that's what makes it exciting for the fans, and perhaps even the people on the craft.
I'm sure it helps, and you could get lucky. There's no particular difficulty with the possibility that a race might have no crashes.
Yeah, again, let's hope for that one, for sure. It does get me thinking that I'm certainly not sure what your plans are, but I might stay aboard up here tonight and just keep an eye on Kara and the crew. Not that I'm worried.
She smiles and says, "You know what? I think I might do the same, and maybe in a few hours just snooze a bit in one of the chairs here, so I'm reasonably alert through the night. You never know when something exciting could happen."
Yeah, precisely. Sleep little and often. I'm sure if you want to have a nap, I can wake you if anything exciting happens, and if I have a little snoozer, you could do the same for me.
That sounds lovely.
Wonderful. Well, and he'll raise a glass and start tapping away on his screen, getting back off the race and more to the surrounding area of the lead of the race. Settle in.
Okay. At this point, there really isn't anything much for Kara to do in the boat. She's waiting her turn, of course, to do something useful. But at the moment, we're still early in the race. Kat's taking this first leg, and then she'll take a proper rest before taking on for. She's planning to do pretty much the whole of the night.
Okay, I'm good to go. I'm good to go. I'm good to go if we need to go back to Soraya. So that does seem to be the natural progression. So I'm good though. I'm good. I think I've got a plan that might end up with them not dying. So we'll see what we can do.
Okay. All right. So this plan of yours. Speak to me about plan.
No, there's no plan. I'm just going to make it up as I go along.
Okay, fair enough then. So, Soraya is with Rose at the moment.
Yes, can I please look to see, as they've been sat inside on a nice comfy sofa or something, kind of watching a screen,
Mm-hmm.
during that time, that last hour or whatever, Soraya's been looking over at the staff, the ones that are looking at their, their tablets and their screens and things like that, and their come-ins and go-ins. What is the general
Sure.
hubbub there? As people come and go, are they leaving their tablets there? Are they bringing their tablets with them? Is there, are people coming over to the barrier to talk to them? Are they, how long are they spending out? Just what can she gather from an hour of sort of watching and drinking?
Okay. The people on the other side of the barriers are undeniably using a mixture of kit that is permanently on those tables set up for multiple people to use, but they also do seem to have their own devices, and some of them are using them as well. They're coming and going fairly freely, and as they come and go, most of them are perfectly happy to stop and chat. You're in the middle of effectively a U-shaped area of these offices that run around the sides and front of the hangar building. Those offices, of course, do continue down all the way to the ends of the quay, or at least as far as the hangar goes. But some of them are therefore the other side of the ropes.
Excellent, excellent. Couple of questions on kit. Watch with com1. What does that do? I was just talking to a watch. I like a James Bond character.
Essentially, yeah.
Fantastic. That is the best thing. That's all I need to know. I'm perfectly happy now. Okay. Has she noticed any crew come through with their carrying their own devices when they've come, or are they very careful about always leaving stuff on the other side of the fence, as it were?
I'll tell you what. Given that this is something a bit more furtive, I'm going to ask that you make stealth or recon check, your choice. Either one with intellect.
Ooh, let's do stealth because I've got a 0. Whereas a recon will be -1 because my jack of all trades. Ah, it'd be nice to get some skills on these days. We need to get back on the Baltic Star. I'm one away from another mechanic. Okay, there we go. We'll see. It should be all right. It's 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. We'll see
Okay.
how hard the luck is.
Yeah, there are, as people get up and bustle back and forth, it is relatively common for somebody to still have a small device literally clutched in their hands rather than put it away. And they are often keeping them there and occasionally glancing at them as you see them get stopped by fans, your side of the ropes. So the reason they haven't put them away is because they're checking for updates every minute or two. And yeah, you see someone chatting with a very tall, elegant-looking woman, um, who's been stopped by her on the way through, and he is, though he's obviously chatting to the woman and trying to be friendly, he's glancing at his device for a while. If he's in that sort of mode for a little while where he's glancing at it all the time, and then he kind of forgets about it and just uh, drops it down into his hip pocket as he keeps chatting.
Um, fantastic. Hey Rose, how you good? How you doing?
Uh, Good to go.
Cool. Plan B has made itself apparent to me, and it does involve schmoozing, and I hate to use you in this way, but she sort of motions at her face and at Rose's face and bosom, and that says, "But quite frankly, you're a better schmoozer than I. I spent 12 years talking to a chalk outline on the hull of my ship. You know, so I
Whereas
didn't.
my
I did,
survival was dependent on talking to actual people to stop them hurting me. Yes.
exactly. You know, I didn't shave my legs for 16 years, pretty much. You know, because I didn't need to. So I'm not the one. I'm not the choice. But my plan is, can you have a wander around? Wander up to the rope, wander around, maybe go to the bar and that. And as you do, I want to kind of keep an eye on anyone that maybe catches an eye of you. You know, you're a very attractive woman, and your walk is spectacular. So if you could do that, smile, give a little wave, a little, toast a glass or something to them as you walk past. I want to see if anyone's particularly interested in you, because my plan is that when they come, next time they come out, if they've got a device, I'm gonna try and do some sort of clumsy, either pickpocketing or bumping the device out of their hand, and do something where you can sort of try and take their attention for a while I clumsily try and sort something that I have no skills at all to try and attempt, but try and find something out. We need to find something, and this is my first idea. Go straight to the data. Are you okay? Going and sort of having a mooch around and see if anyone looks at you.
Give it a shot.
Fantastic.
Yeah, give it a
Appreciate
shot. Um, she does a little lap, not around the whole place, but just a few of the local tables that are, and the area next to one side of that rope, basically, focusing in on that side, which seems to be the slightly busier side where more of the activity is. And she sort of stands at the rope for a little while, smiling at the people on the other side, and then turns around and starts wandering back around. And she does attract some attention, actually, quite a lot of attention. And and she meanders into one group after another, and eventually into that couple, the tall sort of elegant dancer type woman, and the chap who's looking quite pleased to be chatted up by the tall woman, but then looks absolutely knocked out by being chatted up by Rose as well. He's having the day of his life, and they're chatting away quite amiably, and I mean, he probably hasn't really spotted how artificial it would look to someone else, because I'm sure he's very much with it. But you can see the extent to which she's sort of just gently reaching out and touching his elbow and smiling and throwing her head back when she laughs. It looks really artificially flirty to you. Him, I'm sure he's lost in it, but you can tell.
um, did she go to him when he was on his way out for his sort of break, or sort of on his way back in?
On his way out. Well, I mean, he was on his way out when he stopped briefly to talk to the tall woman, and he's now also chatting with Rose, but he hasn't fully left yet, so he's on his way out of the roped off area.
Hmm. Um, is the tall lady still in chat, or has she seen her? She's thinks she's been gazumped.
I think she's still sticking around. Um, she probably wasn't as flirty with him anyway. She was probably after actual team information rather
What?
than
What?
rather than trying to mislead the man and get the
Oh,
poor man's hopes up.
Oh, unbelievable. Ridiculous. So, her being around's a bit awkward. Does he look like is he not pushing to move on? Does he seem quite happy chatting in this place at the point? You say his device has gone away now, right? For the time being, it's in his pocket. You said, or it's in his.
He's dropped it into his sort of overall pocket.
Yeah.
It's just literally dropped in there and sticking out. He doesn't seem to be in any hurry. He was kind enough to stop and chat when it was the tall, sort of middle-aged woman standing in front of him. Now he's got young Rose to speak to. I mean, I doubt tectonic movements could shift him right this second.
Okay. Right. Soraya's going to make a move, and I'm going to look at my stats about the best approach to do this. What would pickpocket come under? Dexterity and something else? Dexterity and...
Stealth, almost certainly. Stealth plus dex.
Okay. If anyone's got any boons they could send my way. I'm not... my normal answer to everything is drop some smoke, which doesn't feel like the right thing to do here. Like, he wouldn't see me coming. But...
that would probably cause more problems than it solved.
It is how Soraya tends to solve most of these problems. I've really good stuff going on. She's just got lots of weapons, which she doesn't have right now. Okay, I'm gonna have to do it. I think it's going to be the best way. To give her the best opportunity possible, as she sort of approaches, she's going to do that hand gesture with Rose to sort of get her to really turn it on. You know, that sort of winding fingers. Right. You know, really turn it on. You know, really go for it.
In that case, we'll make it a chain, if you like.
Yep, that sounds good. I'm guessing her schmoozing is much better than my pickpocketing, so hopefully that'll help.
All right, I'm going to use Rose's detection plus int. Deception plus int. I do apologise, I misspoke.
I was like, don't do that. I don't even know what that stat is. Don't upset me like that. Or what?
Deception
Pick the wrong
plus
person.
int.
Detection feels like a Stefan thing.
And you can actually use deception plus dex if you prefer it to stealth plus dex.
Oh, let's have a look. Nope, stealth will do. Soraya is acting out of her normal character here. It's quite interesting in that regard.
All right. Based on the roll that Rose got, you are carrying into the chain, I'm afraid, a +1.
Well, that's okay.
It was not awful, but not exactly epic.
I'll tell you, I'll take anything. That's all right. She's doing her thing. So I'm taking in a +1 to my chain. And I said I could do a stealth with dex, did you say?
Yes.
I'm seeing if I can sway it in one way or another. Could I sway the dex with a streetwise from the time that she's spent in like sort of belter colonies and things like that? That sort of awareness of her surroundings and where people like to carry things and the awareness of people's positions and things.
Streetwise is kind of alertness. It's how you would identify the mark, sure, but okay, not so, how you would get it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okie dokie. Let's go with the +1 then. It's worth a try. That, and for those watching, that's what Travel's all about. You are welcome to put it to.
Yes. You can always try, and I don't try to be too brutal and rules lawyery about it usually.
No, but you've got to go with what's
very kind. Yeah. Most of the time. Then.
If there's a way to swing it, you'll swing it generally, which I quite like about it. So.
Yeah.
Just
Just
warming.
if you allow it too much, then it minimises the value of some of the more obscure skills, because you can work around them too easily.
Like philosophy.
Exactly.
I haven't used that for a while, actually. My car is in a ship full of people for hours on end. I think philosophy could come in quite well there.
Actually, I would if it comes down to like motivating a team to give their best performance, philosophy, I would definitely give you that. Yes.
I'm going to bring that out later on if we need it. Right, I've worn them up. Okay, we'll see. That was a good roll. Well, 1 was good. 8 plus 1 is 9.
9 total.
Yes, please.
Okay, and that includes
Yeah, it's 8 plus 1. Yeah.
Rosie's bonus. Yeah.
Yes. So I've got a plus 0
Okay.
plus 0 on the other two.
+0. Fantastic. That worked out just brilliantly.
But no minuses though. That was the main thing. So
no minuses at all.
No
so
minuses.
that +1 wasn't awful. Okay.
No, exactly. So that's why I was happy with it.
Yeah, it's a perfectly solid roll, and we'll find out what it does after the break.
Oh, you dirty beggar.
That's a classic Ben break right there. Oh. Right
I
on a
do have
roll.
a habit of pausing on cliffhangers. I do. I shouldn't, but I just can't resist. I'm sorry.
Where's my
I have to say, I do really enjoy. Sorry, go on, Luke.
So I was just trying to find my Angris music while you talked. Sorry.
I do really enjoy the ones where it's on a roll that we've made, and we're like, "Ooh, is that good enough?" Especially contested rolls. Oh, they're the real good
The Angriest music.
It's sabotage, is what it is. It's sabotage. Right.
certainly is.
Right, and I'm sure Spez would have approved with that move as well. So double header. Right. We'll be back in 5 minutes. After the break, we have our toast, which is our toast to a fallen NPC comrade. So fill your glass with the soft drink, cold drink, or alcoholic drink. And we should be back then for the second part. Don't go too far, though, because we've loved having you around. Right, let's put this on. Oh, no, I've sold myself short there. Right, put the music on. Let's put the break on. And let's turn us off. sends good fun our way. Thank you so much. So, points during the breaks. Recently, I've decided to come back and chat with you guys by myself, and then Ewan will come back and we can chat a bit together as well. But I don't know, just about the streaming life in general. Just it's nice to chat off not out of character because we are ourselves, but you know what I mean. We're chatting within the role-playing sphere rather than just chatting, as it were. So it's quite nice to hang out a bit and just chat at you annoyingly during the break time. It's been really fun being back on travel. It's been a few weeks that we haven't had it on, and considering it's a game that we've run on the stream for like 2.5 years now. And before that, we started this campaign during lockdown remotely through laptops, and then every now and again meeting up in a garden when we were allowed, or like I bubbled myself with a friend of ours. He was on his own, so we sort of bubbled him into my family, so I could go over to his, and then Ewan and Ben would be remotely coming in, so we were watching through the TV and that. So during that time, we started, a few years back on this, and so it's just been nice to bring it up this way. And bear with me a second. Sorry, I've gone off on one because I'm looking at something very important. It's been playing on my mind. Just got something out. There we go. There we go. I think. Okay, cool. But yeah, we thought it'd be nice to. Ben does Resplend for us all, and he'll enjoy it when he gets back. Majestic. Don't know if you can hear that. Don't know if that's muted for you guys or if that plays. If blurp overpowers all. Thanks. Really rambly as well, Fids, today. I must admit. I don't know why. It's because I was looking up lyrics for the toast. It's my fault. But anyway, for those that are watching, Soraya's really outside her comfort zone for this one because the stat sheet pops up as you can see from time to time on the screen. But if we run through Soraya's actual skills, and Traveller's really good. Traveller I love because it has all these skills that are quite specific that you turn to, which give you a +1 or +2 or a -3 on a skill if you don't have it at all. So, no, you are. Kara, my other character, would be living her dream here. She's got Corral, she's got Deception, she's got Persuade, she's got Philosophy, she's got that Education and Intellect, so she could do all the talking. But that's not Soraya, and that's why this, for me, it's very interesting because the characters having to play slightly against type. Stefan is the one that's nicked a ship in the past. And actually, I haven't asked Ewan about this. I'll be really interested to ask Ewan when he comes back. Because part of Stefan's backstory is that he stole a massive ship when he was 18, 19, 20. And that's how him and Soraya knew each other. So they both Soraya went to university because Traveller character generation is brilliant, honestly, legitimately brilliant. Soraya's first 4 years, she went to university, but she dropped out, I think. So we made the story that she was going to the local bar a lot and hanging out with Stefan, who was dropping out already because he became a rogue. And so they were plotting a thing together, just hanging up, being a bit political and plotting some stuff, and that she helped him in his quest to steal this big ship. And Stefan's got this thing hanging over him that he's worried that the best thing he's ever done in life, he did as like a 20-year-old, which I think a lot of us can worry about sometimes, that you peak at 20 or something. Some people don't, but you have that bit of, the gardener was a bit of a low point for him, I would say. It's definitely not his highlight. And the killing gardener is interesting because that goes back to before stream when the other guy we played with was a bit more of a murder hobo. Oh, Ewan's back. So we did do things like, well, I never did, but gardeners did get killed or things happened. That's really loud, Ewan. My goodness. No, it's all right. You're muted. You're muted. It's okay. You're muted. It's okay. Now I'm gonna put you on there.
I'll mute myself.
That fan was really loud, by the way. No one heard it. Everyone was just like, "Why is Luke moaning?" But
Phew.
yeah. So I was just saying that our characters are playing against type at the minute because Kara will be far better suited to this situation, and Stefan is the one that has a history of stealing a ship. How do you think
Yeah.
Stefan would, out of character? There's a little bit of sort of behind the scenes stuff. How do you think Stefan would feel knowing that Agnar has, if Agnar does choose to steal it, that Agnar has, and if it successfully happens, if Agnar successfully steals a ship, when that was kind of Stefan's, the thing that he worries is the biggest thing he's ever done when he was like 20?
Oh, that would be really interesting. My gut instinct is to say that this dirigible airship is not in the same class as the ship that Stefan stole. And he wouldn't be too. He'd probably be a little bit put out, but he wouldn't be too annoyed. Mostly because it's a much smaller scale, I think. Certainly, the setup of it is like Stefan stole it from the Naval Training Academy. I think was the deal. So that feels like more of a heist, more of an accomplishment. Maybe that's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. It feels like a bigger thing.
Oh, I think.
But I don't know, honestly. I don't know.
I think it's a
But
really,
he probably
really good
wouldn't
point.
mind too much because he still feels really guilty for stabbing someone and ruining Giikur for them. If I'm honest.
It's a thing that many people would feel guilty about, to be honest.
I mean, maybe not all for feeling guilty about stabbing Fess, but a lot of people would feel guilty, surely.
Yeah.
No. Interesting. No, it's just an interesting thing that had come to my mind. It must be said that I'd not really like.
For sure.
Yes. Right. Anyway, are we good to go? Are we all back? It's
are.
been lovely to have you with us, Spinland. To be honest, an absolute treat, or an absolute joy, and we're glad that you could pop in at the end of whatever you've been doing. You your golf and your drinking and stuff. It's the best time to watch us when you've been drinking. Quite honestly, I try and get through a bottle of wine as quickly as possible so I can enjoy it. Right.
So Luke can stomach watching us.
Exactly. Right, are we good to go?
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's get rid of that. Let's bring up the important graphic. Where's he gone? There he is. Right. So this is a very important part of the stream. Spinland, you'll like this hopefully. Well, you'll like the concept at least. You might not enjoy the way I go about it at the minute. But at this point during the stream, we toast a fallen NPC comrade, a very important one to us. He was around. None of you ever met him, which is kind of sad, really. He played a part when we were still meeting face to face and over the internet during lockdown and so on with our other PC colleague who is currently drinking a lot of alcohol and listening to very loud heavy metal music in a field somewhere. But at that time we had we stumbled across, and he was got sort of shanghaied into the crew. Bless him, a barman who served us well for about 5 sessions, and then he died horribly on an island on a planet that he should never have been taken down to, acting as bodyguards for someone considering he had no skills at all. But it's not his bodyguarding skills that he's remembered for. It's very much his stewardship, the way that he could pour a drink and sit at your elbow, polishing his glass, listening to your tales of woe. The many times Stefan worried that he'd never amount to anything more than what he was. Soraya trying to work out whether it was acceptable to cut your toenails in public. Agnar asking him to open the bottle of whiskey because he couldn't manage it himself. He was a wonderful barman, a wonderful steward. And so we toast him, and I'm going to toast him tonight. It's come back to me after last time because we move it on every now and again. And I like to toast with song. I'm not a great storyteller, but I'm a wonderful, not a wonderful singer. I'm good at picking a song, I like to think. This is a song. It was easy to pick this one because this is a song that Greyhill used to hum to himself when polishing his glasses. He'd sing it every now and again. You know, like when a barman will hum it, but every now and again he'll break into the words for the chorus or something like that. Greyhill did that often.
Mm-hmm.
And it went something like this. He hummed the first half part, but he'd always break into the lyrics for "I'm a barman and I'm okay. I sleep all day and I work all nights." And then he'd get the person at the bar to say, he's a barman. He's okay. He sleeps all day and he works all nights. He pours the drinks. He mops the bar. He goes to the lavatory. On Wednesdays, he chops the lemons and has a bag of crisps for tea. He's a barman and he's okay. Sleeps all day, works all nights. Cleans up cleans up glasses. He likes to press wildflowers. He did like to press wildflowers, actually. It's one of his hobbies. He puts on Baltic Star clothing and he does hang around in bars.
He does.
He was He was a wonderful man, a wonderful barman, a great steward. The finest forearms this side of De La Bru. The late, great Greyhill Bast.
Greyhill Bast.
To Greyhill Bast.
Ben, back to you.
Oh, well, thank you. You say back to me. It's back to you as well. So,
Oh, hang on. I've lost my to Greyhill.
right.
What colour's to Greyhill today? Oh, hang on. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. Yes.
Right. You walk up. He flicks his eyes across to you as you approach, but he's almost immediately sucked back into conversation with Rose as she steps just a fraction of a step closer to him and manages to grab his attention fairly fully. You reach down and you collect his portable device. You lift it out of his pocket, and as far as you can tell, he didn't notice a thing.
Oh, nice. She's going to make for the darkest of dark corners, if that's okay.
There aren't exactly what you call dark corners, but there are certainly. If you head back to the little table area you were sitting at, right by the water,
Yeah.
right on the dock, it's not exactly secret, but there's nobody else there yet. You've only just got up from there, and if you sit there, you'll have some privacy. You can shield what you're doing on by effectively keeping the device water side of you, where no one is.
Exactly. No, we're in honour of Stefan, the man eating cat food toasted sandwiches. We're all stepping up for him today. I appreciate that. Making sure no one's paying big attention to her. She wants to see if she can get the screen on, I guess.
Okay. All right. I'm going to suggest this is probably you want to actually open the device rather than turn it on.
It's a good start. Talk me through the device. I'll start with the most basic bit and we'll move on from there.
So you want to flick it on?
Yes, please.
Or take it apart, so to speak?
Oh, God. Now, this is very interesting, actually, because she'd be better at taking it apart. But I don't know what I'd get out of taking it apart. Nothing, probably. Just how the thing works. I actually need to find data as opposed to... Well, I could take... If there's a hard drive on there... Oh, you beggar. You know what? Soraya has to take it apart because she ain't hacking it. If there's a hard drive device in there, that's what she needs.
All right.
Let's take it apart.
Okay. So you can use for that electronics computing, because you're dealing with the inside of a device, if you like.
I have an electronics toolkit. Will that help me?
Excellent. That will definitely help you. Yes.
Yes.
Um,
I've got smoke grenades. Will that help me?
not as much as you might think.
Okay. She's always well equipped. That's her biggest strength. I've always got my TDX, my breaching charge. I've got no breaching charges. I mean, this is very bad. I need to go sort that out.
I mean,
actually.
that is a way to open a device, of course. It is a breaching charge, after all.
I've got plastic. That will help. Exactly. Dib.
There are potentially other options, I suppose, you could use if you had a relevant science, for example, or whatever. But I think realistically, it's going to be electronics computing.
That's fine. To be honest, right? The other thing was going to be something to do with hacking, right? And she ain't got nothing to do with that, and she wouldn't even have the electronics toolkit. So we're going to. All she's got is sensors, electronics, and engineering power. So, which neither of those is going to help, is it? So, I'm going to be going with my electronics toolkit and my jack of all trades for the rest.
All right, electronics toolkit. Let's exactly think in those terms. So you're going to be using your decks for this.
Yeah, please.
Now, do you have any details on the electronics toolkit? Has it got a TL that you know of, for example?
Yes. Can I go get my book briefly? I've got my book, which I can.
Yes, you absolutely can.
Bear with me a second.
Just wondering if
Someone
it's
sing a song, Ewan. Come on, you're good at that.
Please exclude Luke. Excuse Luke while he pops off to the library, to his extensive library. I hear he has some of those swingy round stairs on wheels. And excuse my fan as well. That was quite quick though, Luke. Is the new filing system in the library?
Yes, it's there.
Already.
It is. I've still got I've still got to go to the page. So what I'll do while I'm doing that, I'm going to give Ewan can do a minute of wisdom on.
Hold on a minute. You've got infinite points. I don't think this is. This is fair.
You can give a minute of wisdom on why Stonehenge should be moved to a better location. And I'm going to look for my.
Okay. I've got it in front of me.
Oh, hang on. Oh, don't ruin it. I wanted to hear his tales.
Wait, you've got a timer in front of you for the minute of wisdom, or you've got why?
I've got the electronics toolkit.
Yeah, I've got it. It's a tech level. It's a tech level 7.
Okay.
Well, you can all thank yourselves lucky that you don't have to listen to me talk for a minute about something that I know nothing about.
I've spent the points.
It's true, I suppose, technically.
And philosophically.
All right, you ready for a minute of wisdom then?
Yes.
Oh, we actually doing it? Yep, sure.
Yeah.
No, we don't have to if you don't want.
No, we are.
No,
Come on.
I'm more than happy.
All right.
Spend the points. We always
okay.
Spend
the points. I've got infinite points, but I still spent them.
Okay, I will give you a countdown. Even though we won't be able to show it on screen at the moment.
No, we've got bad. Roll20's ruined us
thanks,
for
Roll20.
Blame Teams, I'd say.
Yeah, that's fair. That's more fair, actually.
Yes.
Don't blame the victim. That is Roll20. Then have to put
your minute starts now.
Why Stonehenge should be moved to a better location? I think the most important thing to clear up here is what exactly defines a better location. Clearly, for me, somewhere covered in snow and cold, and somewhere where you could wear shorts and be comfortable would be the ideal location for Stonehenge. Many people say somewhere nice and hot, like the Bahamas, maybe Hawaii, would be quite a good location for Stonehenge. I feel as though there needs to be some kind of committee dedicated to defining and selecting the best location before it's even given serious thought, if I'm honest. Of course, the other important factor is to take into account the sunrise and the sunset and the geographical location that it is currently in, and maintaining that alignment. Should it be moved to a different location? And I'm sure that there would indeed need to be a team of scientists to at least posit some theories as to its current orientation and carry that over to whatever location the previous team chose.
Fantastic, Ewan. I feel much more edified.
Is that the right word? Maybe.
Cheated is the word I was thinking of.
Cheated? I suppose I didn't give any reason why. I did talk for a minute, so there you go. You even got a couple of extra seconds.
I appreciate you.
Quality, not quantity.
That is your nickname.
Okay. So I would like you to make a roll, please, for electronics computing with Dex. While the toolkit means you are comfortably able to pry the thing open without too much difficulty, it doesn't actually offer you a bonus of any kind.
Okay. Right, this is still the best. This is still the best option that she's got. Car is miles away, so I can't. The only thing I can do is get the actual device to the woman. Can I have second thoughts as I've got the screwdriver in the hole? Or if I'm already cracking it. She's thinking it. She's sort of fiddling with the little screwdriver and the little laser cutter or whatever. And she's like, "This is ridiculous. Let the woman that wants the data do the hard work. I've done the difficult bit, and trying to look really cool. So I've just got to change my notes. So it's take it apart with her electronics toolkit, bottles it. Then what she's going to do? Looking very cool though, with her her com dot. She's going to try and slip it. She's going to slip the device into the folds of her clothes. She's got holsters. She's got team clothes. She's got the whole shebang on. So she's going to slip it inside, and she's going to get her beautiful, sexy, amazing com dot watch out, so she can pretend she's James Bond. And she's going to call. Put my page. I'm limited in space, and I put my pages in the wrong place. She is going to call Saffron, please.
Okay. All right.
As she starts to walk out, as she starts to walk away, she doesn't want to be in the area, if that makes sense. So she's going to walk towards the outside as she starts to talk.
Sure. Okay. You call Saffron. There's a couple of moments of delay, but then she picks up and answers. Hey there.
Hey, this is your favourite formerly incarcerated hero. How you doing?
Not too bad. Getting some interesting stuff. Found a chap at the police who's willing to talk about the autopsy they're doing on the dead chap they found. It's quite interesting stuff. You know, looking at what they're seeing, looks like he's got to be military, but no sign of any kind of records or anything in a database. Fascinating. People aren't usually that anonymous.
No, and it's from what I heard, there was a whole bunch of them as well. So, goodness knows, that was very suspicious. Anyway, can you hear me okay? I'm talking to you through my really cool watch that I bought on another planet and I'm finally getting to use it. Do I sound okay? Does it sound cool?
Sounds great.
I feel great. I think I look great as well. I feel like a secret agent. To follow up my secret agent feel, I've done some secret agent things. How quickly can you get a trusted person to the entrance of the VCI like pits?
A trusted person. Well, I'm probably about a couple of minutes away. Do I count as trusted?
Do you trust yourself?
Implicitly.
That's good enough for me. So I've got a, I don't know if it's going to give everything you need, but I've managed to lift a device from one of the crew, and it's going to become very obvious quite quickly. I'd imagine when he finally lifts himself from Rose's spell and has a few minutes of panic, that the device has gone missing. But this device might have the information you need. It's the sort of things they're working on, the data, everything like that. I was going to break it apart, then bottled it because I realised that I could break it trying to find a hard drive, and then I'd give it back to him in a non-working, not working anyway. So what difference would it make? So is this useful?
Could be. Certainly could be.
You probably need to make that 2 minutes into 1 minute if you're athletic, because I don't know how long we've got. I'm going to get to the entrance. You'll see me. I'll make sure I'm sort of schmoozing by the main entrance.
All right.
By the barriers.
No, journalists are famous for our ability to run. No, wait, it's drink, isn't it? But I'll be there as fast as I can.
Fantastic. Cool. Don't be long, yeah, because I don't know how long we've got.
Copy that. You can actually hear her starting to puff a bit louder, like she's at least walking swiftly, even as you hang up. Rose is still keeping the guy occupied, but it won't last forever, as you rightly say. Not unless she's willing to go much further than than you've currently asked her to.
Exactly.
All right. You make your way out towards the sort of the fence that separates the VIP paddock area from the area that the fans are milling about. Because the race is now, 90 minutes in or something, that initial sense of excitement has started to fade a bit, and people are milling about a bit more. They're thinking now's a good time to go and refresh their drinks or get themselves a bit of food or something like that. So there's a lot more movement, whereas at the time the race actually started, there were just crowds statically watching the big screens there. So it isn't very long before you spot Saffron slinking along the line, and you can try to pass it through without being spotted if you'd like.
Yes, please. I'm going to get as
Or
close
do you
as
not
possible.
want to be subtle about it? You just want to sort of call her over and say, "Here's your phone."
It's a bit obvious. What is this? I'm guessing there's security at the barrier to stop ne'er-do-wells coming in, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a couple of people at the gate basically, but it isn't as if there's security all the way along that perimeter because there's a fence.
Yes.
Delegated that responsibility to a fence.
It's a very important fence. I'm resisting the urge to throw smoke in the other direction. It's miles for everything. It's terrible. No, don't do it, Luke. You're an idiot. I've got an idea. As I approach, what's my stats like? Hang on. I don't want to spend too long because that feels very unrealistic. But give me a second, please, if that's okay. No, that's deception. No, I'll just. I'm not going to try and deceive anyone because I don't want to fail and make it worse. Instead, I'm going to go straight over to the bar. Straight over to the bar of like the barrier. I guess.
Yep.
And shout out. Shout, Amy! Amy! Look what I got! I got a ticket after all. To Sephra and that wave at her. I got a ticket.
Okay. Sephron looks across a little bit startled at the noise and then grins warmly and trots over. Hey,
How you doing? It's good. You getting into any of the parties later?
Probably. There's a couple I've got my eye on. And she sort of leans forward and gives you a hug over the barrier.
I'll go for the hug and I'll try and slip the device into a pocket or a fold or whatever I can do as I do that.
All right. I am going to make you roll because it's a stealth move, but it's an easy one.
Yeah, I think you should.
So stealth plus dex, please.
Okay. Stealth plus. I mean, it's multiple rolls tonight. It's just not right, is it? I'll drop one on the floor. Did you say it was easy?
Yep.
I hope so. 6.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah. You sort of try and slide it into her sort of coat. After a couple of sort of slightly false runs, she slips a hand underneath her coat herself and just takes it from you and slips it into a pocket. You don't exactly do it smoothly, but nobody's paying attention. It's subtly done. Everybody's ignoring you, and she gives you a cheerful wave and says, "Well, see you later," and walks off.
Cool. As she goes, I'm going to make a big thing of like. Soraya's going to point in the other direction and go, oh, Jimmy! And she goes to the guy at the gate. Sorry, she flashed the badge. Are you all right if I just go out and chat to my friend out there for a bit? Is that okay? I won't try and get him in or anything.
Of course, ma'am.
Thank you very much. And she sort of rushes out in the direction of imaginary Jimmy.
Okay. All right. So
needs to be more aware.
Within a couple of seconds, you'll effectively disappear into the crowd on the at the bay.
When she's found a place, she'll sort of find a place to sit down. Maybe grab herself a fishy sandwich. They're very top quality down there, of course. She'll drop Rose a message saying, "I guess I'm out for now until I hear otherwise. Enjoy the time as you want. Otherwise, I'm hanging around the bay for a bit."
Okay. All right. You get a message back from Rose within a couple of minutes. It's not instant, but it's fairly quick. And she says, "Cool, I'm I'm trying to convince the Tim to give me the good stuff, and and I'll let you know when I'm coming out in case you want to meet up again." And she signs off, and then from where you are, you can see the direction that Saffron went, but she's disappeared behind a building. There is a sort of press area back there where people can write their stories and do press conferences and interviews. So she may have disappeared into there, but she could equally have just stepped behind a building to find some privacy.
Yeah. Soraya's going to give Agnar a call.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Did you just call me?
No, no. I definitely just answered the phone. You called me.
Who is
What's
this?
up?
I don't want insurance.
You pocket dialing me.
Who? What? Who? What?
You know who it is. You pressed my number when you called me. Stop.
Hey, Agnar. Guess
Wait,
what?
did I call you?
Guess. How old? How old are you now? You know, you forget these things when you get older. Happy birthday, by the way, Agnar. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm 43.
43. That's so old. 43. Imagine being
I know.
43. 42 is young, but 43 is old.
In wolf years,
Right.
that's like 100, I don't know, 32.
No wonder the greys
Something
are
like that.
No wonder I've started noticing the greys the last few days. You're carrying it well, though. Very distinguished.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm pretty grey anyway, but so it bodes well.
What are you going to do about the thinning bits? Have you decided yet? Did you know about those?
Well, it's funny you should mention that. I'll sort of start brushing the top of his head. Obviously, she has no idea. It's funny you should mention that. There's some people just say to shave it all off.
Oh, that's the way to
Just
do it.
you know, lean into it.
That's what I would do. Yes.
Yeah, those Siamese Varga. For that look. It's an interesting choice. Not one that I've ever really given much credit to. I mean, lovely people, obviously, but
I've had the pink folds of skin don't look good on everyone.
no, yeah, certainly, especially not when you tend to get to my sort of age. The skin gets a little bit.
43. That's so old.
I know.
Oh man. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know.
Wish me a happy birthday.
Yeah, I've just done that. I'm not doing it twice. Did you forget that?
Sorry,
did you forget I just did it? It was only a second ago.
No. Go on.
So I've been in VCI with Rose. Do you remember Seth? You remember Sefran from the ship, didn't you? You were there. You were there with Sefran.
Yeah. She collared me outside shop.
Yeah, Cara told me all.
outside
Cara told
Sharp's
me all
office.
about it. Yeah, Cara told me all about it. Well, I ended up in contact with her when I was on the run, and when I thought I was going to be arrested, well, I was. I just dumped a load of stuff on her, like ideas about Fess and that, because my thought was that the truth will out, and if the press, as long as you're feeding the press will support you. If they think they get something out of it.
Keep them on your side.
Exactly, and so I called her earlier actually, because me and Rose got tickets to VCI and we've spent the morning in there and schmoozing and drinking and so on. Apparently Fess is around, so I'm a bit nervous about that. But he managed to get a device off one of the guys. Rose did a thing. I pickpocketed someone. I actually pickpocketed someone, and I've handed the device off to Saffron. But they believe that DSS and VCI are sort of sharing stuff. It's all rooms. I'm sure you've heard it already. But that DSS are going to lead the way. They're going to feed everything to VCI. So Saffron's going to look into that because I think she wants to blow it all open. But
It's funny you should mention that. I'm sure Cara did a piece.
oh, she did. But half of what she said was
I saw that.
just stirring things up before she even knew the truth. You know what she's like. I wonder, you're on the bougie balloon, right? You're hoity-toitying it up with the cravat wearers, right?
I mean, that's not what we're calling it, but I am on the airship. Yes. Where are you?
I'm with the common people.
See, if only you were here with me. There's Bubbles and good company.
Oh, I have Bubbles and good company, but I turn my back on it for the good of the crew. I with all the information, which hopefully will mess up with Fess or something. We don't like the guy. Oh, well, you saved him. You love the guy, clearly. You must have the hots for him or something because you saved the guy's life. But still angry with you for that. But that's okay. That's okay for now. I was wondering, I've heard, does the bougie balloon have like stuff to watch I'm guessing it's got stuff to watch the race on. It's got screens, some tap device, menus to click on things and look at things and follow things and stuff like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I suppose it doesn't. It does have. I mean, it actually has stuff to look at the race on. It doesn't have stuff to look at the race on, but there is other stuff that I suppose is like stuff to look at the race on. There's technology aboard, if that's what you're asking. It's not some of it's a simile, some of it is actually what you described.
Well, I don't know.
Yes. Yes.
Are you one of us, or are you now just one of the hoity-toity cravat wearers on the bougie balloon? Is yours still eye on the prize still?
The fact you need to ask that hurts me. It hurts me. And on my birthday of all days.
Birthday.
How old is the whiskey that you're drinking right now, Agnar? Is it older than me?
I forget, how old are you again?
34?
34. And well, technically, I suppose it's not. I did ask for the 42, but they didn't have a 42. So I just had to get a combination of whiskies that added up to 42.
Well,
it's the same principle.
Maths was never my strong point. I was wondering, could you on your stuff up there, could you just keep an eye on the whole thing with DSS and VCI? I'm sure it's going to be really obvious. I'm sure there's going to be coverage for it. But the more we can get to help out Saffron, and if we can blow out the whole thing with Fess, on the teams, just see if there's any like patterns they're following, anything obvious, anything weird. If you could do that, that'd be good while you're up there, while you're hobnobbing and sipping on fine alcohol while we're down here drinking lighter fluid and stuff out of a brown paper bag.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. I was just chatting to Sharp, and he'll give a little nod across the table because he's mentioned her name a couple of times, and he realizes she is just sat there. I was just saying to Sharp around our third bottle of champagne and second pot of caviar. It appears that, I mean, it's not necessarily related to the teams you're mentioning, but Xander are taking so far as I can tell, by my novice eye, you understand that They're taking the same route that ISB took last year.
Hmm.
Don't know if that's any interesting. And ISB are just taking a completely random route. It's nothing. Certainly nothing compared to last year. I haven't gone any further back, but
To be honest,
looks like they're just winging it.
as long as it takes it, as long as our lot get close to Harrenhal, it's all good, isn't it? I know that Kat will do her best, won't she? She's competitive. She'll want to put them in with a chance. But yeah, just keep doing your thing while you're up there. Just keep following you're the man. You're the eye in the sky, quite literally. Keep an eye on routes, weird stuff. Anything weird, just get in touch, and I'll get in touch with Sefran. Yeah.
Are you interested in most DSS and VCI?
DSS and
Their routes, or
yeah, DSS and VCI mostly. They're the ones they've swapped crew. That's the suspicious stuff. There's even talk in VCI about it. So
I'm making a note right now, right next to me on this little napkin, and he'll look over at Shaft and just roll his eyes. I'll keep an eye, and I'll let you know if anything odd, unusual happens.
cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thanks. Enjoy the lighter fluid.
I left you a present in one of your pockets. The one of the ones on halfway down the trouser leg. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
I haven't. Start patting around his legs.
It's a cupcake. I don't know how well it's lasted.
Yeah, it's funny. Just before you mentioned that, I mean, I didn't necessarily find it, but I definitely felt it in my pockets. Thanks.
You're welcome. Happy birthday. Enjoy it.
Yeah, don't expect any updates for the next 10 minutes whilst I go scrape icing out of my pockets in the toilets.
Don't waste it.
Well, no, I'm going to eat it afterwards, obviously.
Good.
That's his 5th best combat suit.
Luke, forever spoiling people's trousers on stream.
It's canon. It's my favourite thing.
Fantastic. Yeah. So, as you hang up, you actually get a little blip through from Rose, Soraya.
Oh, nice.
She sends a message saying she's going out for a trip on one of the support boats. They're now apparently taking people out into the cove from the hangar.
Oh, nice. She'll just message back saying, "Enjoy it. If there's anything of any interest, let me know."
She sends back, "So far, the thing that seems most of interest is in the cabin area. They seem to be loading it up with booze."
Sorrel message back. If only I was the pretty one and you were the one that could take stuff out of people's pockets.
There's a little bit of a grin sent back, but before you can do much else, you get a message from Sefran.
Oh, yes.
And she responds saying, "Thank you for this. Obviously, I can't use any of it because I'm a journalist and it would be unethical. But what I can do is use it to help me ask the right questions."
Well, I'm glad I can offer you something that might put you on equal footing in a discussion.
Yeah. It's good of you. Thank you. I'm still pressing them on the dead body. No idea if that's going to go anywhere. They look as baffled as I am, to be honest.
I'm trying to. Does Soraya? I can't remember if does Soraya say anything about the situation? Let me have a look. Soraya and Rose goes to the planet, VCI, officers. I heard go on about this. So there's a fight between supporters. Saffron asked about team colours not hung up. Saffron knows they're lying. So Saffron knows they're lying. Oh, so sorry I didn't say anything about the whole situation. She didn't really know about it. I think she was sleeping. So what was the guy wearing? Did you say just like base, like very standard?
It was sort of very dark grey overalls, pretty generic, really. Good quality though.
Mm. Did they look like hired guns, like mercenary types?
They're not sure, and I haven't seen the body myself. Just heard what's been said about them. He was apparently killed with a single shot.
That's a very skilled person, I'm guessing.
Yeah, very high power Gauss weapon.
It sounds like the sort of person to be part of a bigger posse. Oh, spin and we have a clothes first stream. We do like to discuss what we're wearing.
It's very true.
I think it's like a year and a half back. I heard something somewhere about it's really good to discuss about what people are wearing, about what they're putting on in the morning or before you go into combat, what you are. And I quite like it. And I think we've become a bit of a clothes fetish stream. It's because I was reading Floof Bitches weirdly, and I turned that to food. I don't know why.
We do to an extent talk about clothing quite a lot. I mean, it was something that a couple of our regular viewers took an interest in, so we just started doing it. Really.
No, exactly. Have we talked to her about the submarine at all? I lose track of who's been talking to her about the submarine.
As far as I'm aware, you haven't spoken to her about the sub.
No. Saffron, have you heard? I know that I'm finding you stuff, and we're working together a lot in these things. But I also know that the relationship between anyone that helps the media and the media is still a specific kind of relationship. Even though I gave you things on my way into prison, I spilled everything and then I risked everything. Then, have you heard much about any suspicious shenanigans outside of the race at all happening at the time that might be linked to these mercenaries, or anything suspicious out there?
I mean, I'm not sure you're entirely clear how this source thing works. You're supposed to be giving me information, not the other way around.
I've done it twice. Big times.
But if you're asking if I've heard anything like that, no. I've heard a lot about stuff going on inside the teams. I'm genuinely curious about, particularly VCI and DSS. I think there's something really shady going on there. And a dead body found right next to the edge of the cove. Of course, that's fascinating to me, especially since the police immediately tried to lie to me about who it was. But now we've got through that part of our relationship, the part where they just blatantly lied to me and pretended that I was an idiot who would never work that out. And I showed them that simply wasn't true, and I was going to humiliate them in public if they kept trying it. We've now reached a sort of happy medium where they share everything they know, at least if it's not truly secret. But I haven't heard anything about what you're talking about, no.
Mysterious. Just hearing strange whispers around these parts, to be honest. You know what I mean? When people show up that people don't if people aren't in team colours, do you know what I mean? If people are looking a bit mercenary-like, people do look, don't they? At the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people aren't wearing team colours, of course.
But
Maybe
there's
they
a certain
don't support a particular team. But
there's a look to people. People are here for the good times. If people aren't here for the good times, people get a bit like, very useful. Thank you. Is there about? I don't know if I feel the need to, but could you get me on the guest list to DSS?
Roll a persuade for me, please, with intellect.
Smooth intellect. You could come with me. Undercover. Do they know you well there?
I'm.
Oh, if I'm going to do it tonight's the time to do it. 14.
Oh,
Oh, the big rolls come.
It's best we don't go together because I'm quite well known as a journalist, and that might make it harder for you to blend in.
Hmm.
Okay. I'll see what I can do. I suspect I can probably get you into their party this evening. Don't know if you'll be able to make use of that to get, further access or anything, but I can probably get you in there this evening.
That's fine. That's fine. I can go back, have a bit of relax, have a shower, get changed into whatever colours they are, and wander back in. Do you know what I mean? If nothing else, it's a chance to drink and chill, right? Like all my friends are doing other things, but at the best, I can, get my ear to the ground for you. I think it works two ways. I'll get a free party out of it, and you might get a bit of info. Can you get two in? Because I've got a friend, a guy called Johnny, who I think would love to come along.
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. You hang up, and you're still sort of relaxing and looking around. You see the boat that Rose is on shoot out. I mean, you can't make it out in detail, but you can see it's a VCI support boat, and it sets off out straight away from the cove out into deep water. It's a reasonably sized cabin cruiser, but it's nothing like the size of a racecraft. You understand? It's much smaller than that, more like a miniature tug. But it seems to be nicely appointed, and it's in team colours, the yellow and black colours, and it's skipping along at a fair old speed out of the cove, and pootling along, having a nice day. Pootling is important.
Pootling is very important.
When you get a call from Rose.
Hello?
It isn't Rose's voice.
ooh.
A voice you recognise really quite well now.
Oh,
Says,
no.
"Good afternoon, Miss Kensari. How nice to make your acquaintance."
Both of our
Oh.
And that's where we'll call it for tonight.
Oh, Ben.
He's a dick, isn't he? Not Ben. First.
Ben, before I forget, in advance of next week, can I just quickly throw in that Agnar, after the phone call, will be asking Sharp to keep an eye on DSS and VCI and their routes and any unusual behaviours on Soraya's behalf.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be a conversation, but
no, that's fine. I will add it to the list.
Certainly mention it. I do have it written down, but I'll still forget. So, thanks.
That's no problem at all. Yep, I will make a note.
Oh, why would you do that? Why would you do that to poor?
I got cash with Rose. That's the problem. I was just about. If he hadn't have done that, the next thing that Soraya was going to do is to call Zoe and tell her that there's a boat out there with Rose on and to keep an eye on it. I know. I was a little bit worried. Rose is tough.
You can still do that. To be fair, that might be a good idea.
Rose is tough, and she's lived long enough on her wits with some horrible miners and such like. So she's probably one of the hardest of all of us, but still, it's Rose. Zoe will be very upset to know that she's in harm's way.
I think Zoe may be verging on homicidal about this. Yeah.
Oh,
But that's life. Yeah.
But on the up chance, if Zoe does kill Fess,
oh, sweet.
then at least Agnar's on a quick airship to swoop in and save us.
No, don't you dare! He's too far away. Let his. You don't have to save him all the time.
I wouldn't do it unless it was right in front of my face. Agnar wouldn't do it unless it was right in front of his face.
Sometimes he shouldn't do it at all. Oh, he's upsetting me.
That's true. I'm with you, Luke.
Curse role playing. We actually have to role play to a character.
People that care about other people.
Lousy characters. I hate a smidgen. I hate Fest streams. They're my least favourite streams.
You see, I rather enjoy playing Fess.
I know you do. Too much. That's the
Luke
problem.
and I are on edge all too often when Fess is on.
Oh, God. And I've got to talk to him as Soraya as well. He's not as good at talking to him as Kara is. Kara was quite good at it last time. Soraya's terrible.
Kara is very quick-witted, particularly when it comes to communication, human interaction, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and she I feel like she did quite well against Fess in the club. She did quite well in that conversation with him.
She did. I mean, it could be worse. It could be Agnar who's got to have the conversation.
He'll just spill everything. And then blush.
I think Agnar would carefully explain to Fess everything they knew and everything they were planning to do, and then he'd hang up and he'd turn to Shot and say, "I think that went really well."
Yes, indeed.
It could be worse, I suppose. Oh God. Maybe hobnobbing
next week.
Hobnobbing with a cravat, whereas is the safest place for him, I think.
Anyway, thank you very much, gentlemen. It was lovely to get back into some Traveller after a bit of a break.
That's good.
Always a pleasure.
Straight back in, man.
And so what are we doing tomorrow? We are doing Orbital Blues, aren't we, tomorrow?
Yes. So Orbital Blues is our ongoing sad space cowboy game. It's sci-fi, but it's different. It's more Cowboy Bebop, Firefly-ish. The crew of the Alkanost, which is Ben, Ewan, and Sock Fiddler, are on a mining planet for a boxing match between someone they like and someone they very much don't like, and they've tried to dope the person they don't like to set her up for failure. Basically, there's lots of other stuff going on.
Have we actually delivered the bottle of water this time? Because last time there was a bit of an issue.
She grabbed it and went. She grabbed it and went back, and then put the drugs in, and then gave it back again. Luckily, she rolled well enough that it worked out somehow.
Yeah.
The first time was the best.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the drugs with me, but not the water. Or something like that.
She took the drugs and the water, but never put the drugs in the water, and it was only at the end of the stream. And I was like, you haven't actually. You've just given her a bottle of water.
And it's not going to work if we hand her a bottle of water and then hand her some drugs and say, if you could pour them into the water before you drink it, that would be really kind of
Spinner knows. It's all about the dollary dues. It is all about the dollary dues.
It is all about. And there will be many a dollary due spent tomorrow.
We are getting close to the big match. So there's stuff going on. I'll make sure I update everyone at the start of the stream. I'm out at someone's anniversary, 10th anniversary, I think. And we've discussed this, haven't we? The stream starts at 11. What might happen is that for the first 45 minutes or an hour or something, the crew without me, using Ben's login, I guess at that point, we'll talk about how it's gone so far, right? Just character stuff and things like that. I won't even be here, so you can just chat. I think Socks brought that up as a
we're
possibility.
going to role play and just. We're gonna.
Everyone wins.
What would Luke let us do?
And we're going to succeed, as it turns out.
Funnily enough, we're going to move pace along really quickly. I feel.
I feel all of our roles are going to be great. Actually, I'm feeling really good about that.
Or at least good enough.
Good. That's all it needs to
No,
be
yeah,
good enough.
we're gonna totally talk about what we've done and where we are and what's gonna happen. Hopefully,
Cool.
what our
And then,
plans are, maybe a little bit.
and then I'll appear at some point between 11 and 12 probably, and then we'll do another hour and a half, 2 hours of actual role playing. To be honest, this is one end of the storyline. You can blast out a system after this, but you might need to because you're chased. But there's other stuff around. It's up to you. I've got other stuff written. If you need to go to other systems, there's a whole load of things. The world is your oyster.
Yeah.
See where the world takes you, I guess.
Yeah,
It's fun. I like the game. I like all our games.
So
to
do
be
I.
honest.
it is really good fun. Really good fun.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, I do enjoy everything we play, but Orbital Blues has, I suppose, the setting appeals to me as a sort of grubby science fiction setting, but also I rather like the characters we've ended up with.
It's
Yeah, definitely. Which I think is a lot to do with the rules and how we rolled them up and chose our blues and our, what was the other one? Luke, there's a couple of bits on there.
I know.
Anyway.
I know. Let me get the
It's a
book.
good system. It's a good system. It's a good system. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's been there because I've been writing a new place for you guys to go to next. So your blues and your troubles, and your something else. There's a positive as well, isn't there? The troubles, gambits. Gambits are what you're good at.
Gambits. Yeah,
Gam-
that's the one.
Gambits are what you're good at. Troubles are things that follow you around. And if you
Yeah.
delve into either of them, something happens. If you delve into your troubles, you get blues. If you delve into gambits, you get something, a bonus. I can't remember. I'll read up in.
Yeah, it makes for some good characters.
It's good.
For sure.
Exactly. But that's tomorrow. I enjoy it.
Uh,
It's one of the streams that I feel disappointed to bring it to an end. It's a game that I
Yeah.
could run for 8 hours. We'd be knackered. If I started at midday, and we ran it till midnight, I'd be happy, But we can't do that.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
No, I mean, maybe one day we'll do one of those as a sort of charity thing or something. But my God, that would be a punishing stream.
Oh my goodness! Charity for my own mental health, probably. But that's those, and then some. I think there's a game happening on Monday. You're not
Monday?
around for it, Ben, though, right? Sox is trying to drag me into a game, so I don't know what's happening.
Yes, I think that's the weekend I'm away. I think.
So she's trying to drag me into something. There's some discussion about this. Are you playing something this Monday?
Yes, we are. So this Monday, Sox and I are going to start a new game because obviously we finished Banner Saga on Monday. Now, I'm probably going to end up mispronouncing this or something very similar, but this one's going to be a little bit different because what we're going to try to do, assuming we can get the tech to work properly, is this time Sox is going to play the game. I'm still going to stream it, but she's going to play a game called Botanicula, which is completely new to me. I'm going to try to stream it and then commentate on her, no doubt, brilliance at playing this game. And so that's what we're planning to do on Monday. All being well, Sox will take over actually playing the game and helming the thing, and we will see how that goes on Monday.
Wonderful.
It sounds very exciting, I have to say.
I
And you
have
set
no
the
idea
bar
what
pretty
this
high,
is.
Ben.
Hmm?
Because you set the bar pretty high because you completed Banner Saga on your first playthrough without dying.
I did, and,
So-
and I mean, obviously, I hadn't played the game before, so I'm only going by what Sox tells me. But apparently, I did so with remarkable alacrity, skill, brilliance. Some might even say genius.
I mean, I took that as a given, but
Some.
if Sock says so, then it must be true.
Must be true.
It's canon.
Absolutely must be true.
Sox's word is canon.
It's canon. Wait, canon means made
during
up, right?
intros. Because I've noticed that when I step out for a comfort break just before we start streaming, Sox has a habit of being a little bit more creative with her descriptions of of things. Have you not noticed that?
You know what she's like.
Anyway,
That's just the way she. That's just the way she rolls.
anyway, we shall see you hopefully tomorrow night for some Orbital Blues. 11 o'clock is the stream start time. We'll try and get started as close as we can to that. And if we do not have a Luke at that moment, and it's possible we will not, then
I've got to roll my own carousing rolls, haven't I?
Could we?
Yeah.
We could just run it AI, couldn't we? Couldn't we find an online AI GM and replace Luke with artificial intelligence?
Probably better. At least there'll be intelligence there.
No, I'm totally joking. We will discuss the game so far and where we are.
We will chat about the characters and the background and what's happened. I'll dredge back through my old OB notes and see where we got to and how we got to there.
Goodness, there's a lot of pages of notes, by the way. I was going through it today, numbering them. There's a lot of pages of notes.
I have a lot of pages of OB notes as well. Yeah,
Ewan's probably got half a page by now, hasn't he? You must be up to half a page by now.
Because I've almost got a full page.
That's
almost a full page, which is unheard of. But not only are we quite detailed, I think, in some of our descriptions and the way we go about things, but it's moved on reasonably quickly for us. I mean, I'm not going to say it's quick, but for us, we've
really
had a pace to it. We've almost finished the intro adventure, haven't we, Luke?
But the last 5 episodes have covered about 3 hours in game.
Okay, maybe the last few have been not great, but before that, we were sort of hopping around.
Before they were very good,
living our best life.
Yeah, you were doing really well for a little while.
We have, as I understand it, so far visited 3 places. One of which was just a tutorial level.
That's my favourite level.
Maybe that's what it is.
That's what you need to go back there.
And it's taken us. It's taken us a year and a half to get this far.
No wonder people lose hope with
It's not as regular, though, to be fair.
That's right, it isn't. Anyway, we play the pace we play.
We enjoy it. It's much fun.
Yes,
we do ridiculous things. We have a lot of branches. Yeah, not so much in the Orbital Blues, but we do have a lot of branches.
We have a lot of branches. Oh, where's my graphic on? Anyone in the UK, save the date. What's the date again? 16th and 17th of March. Save the date. Can't say why yet. I haven't paid the money yet, but you know. 16th, 17th
plans are afoot. Things will be happening.
16th, 17th of March, yeah? Do it.
Excellent.
We'll
Save the date.
Save the date. It's not a wedding. Me and Ewan are finally getting married.
We'll call you.
Right, okay. Right, we're off. Let's go to bed. In our big Baltic Star bed. There's space for a minute. It's like the rainbow bed. There's space for all of us. I'm going to take the tail end, the topping and tail end. I'll have both your feet tonight.
There's 3 of us.
Yeah, exactly. Feet either side of me.
I suppose.
Feet to the left, feet to the right. Yeah. I'll take
stuck
it.
In the middle with you.
Stuck in the middle, exactly. Sleep well, guys. Sleep well. Thank you, everyone, for watching us. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And hope you enjoyed it. See you tomorrow night, hopefully. Night, Spinland.
Good night, everybody.
Take care. Night, Crit. Night, Bye.